The research ship Aurora moved slowly through the dark space near the Veil Nebula. Its white hull gleamed under the light of distant stars. Inside the ship, Dr. Sarah Chen looked at the screens showing colorful gas clouds and new star systems. She had been mapping this part of space for 3 months. Her team of 12 scientists worked quietly around her, taking notes and running tests on everything they found. Dr. Chen was a small woman with short black hair and calm brown eyes. She wore the simple blue uniform of Earth's Deep Space Research Division. Her job was to find new worlds and study them. She never carried weapons. Her ship had no military equipment. The Aurora was built for discovery, not for fighting. "Captain, we are getting some strange readings from Sector 7, said Dr. Martinez, looking up from his computer. He was the team's physics expert. His face looked worried. Dr. Chen walked over to his station. "What kind of readings?" "Energy signatures. They look artificial, like ship engines, but different from anything we know." Dr. Chen felt her heart beat a little faster. This could be first contact with alien life. Earth had been looking for other intelligent species for hundreds of years. They had found many planets with simple life, but never anything that built spaceships. "Are you sure it's not a natural phenomenon?" she asked. Dr. Martinez shook his head. "No, Captain. These patterns are too organized. Something is out there and it's moving toward us." Dr. Chen looked at her crew. They had all stopped working and were listening. Some looked excited. Others looked scared. She had trained for this moment, but nothing could really prepare someone for meeting aliens for the first time. "All right, everyone. This is what we trained for. Follow first contact protocols. No sudden movements. No aggressive actions. We represent all of humanity right now." She walked to the communication station. "Open a channel on all frequencies. Let's try to say hello." Before anyone could respond, the ship's alarm started ringing. Red lights flashed on the walls. Dr. Kim, who was watching the sensors, called out in a frightened voice, "Captain, multiple ships just appeared around us. They came out of nowhere. I count 8 vessels, all much larger than us." Dr. Chen looked at the main screen. 8 dark ships surrounded the Aurora. They were shaped like giant insects, with long curved sections that looked like arms or legs. Strange lights pulsed along their hulls. Each ship was at least 5 times bigger than the Aurora. "Are their weapons pointed at us?" Dr. Chen asked. "Yes, Captain. All of them." Dr. Chen took a deep breath. She had to stay calm. Her crew was looking at her, waiting for orders. She was responsible for their lives and for representing humanity in this first meeting with aliens. A new sound came from the communication system. It was harsh and clicking like insects talking. Then the ship's computer started translating the sounds into English words. "Unknown vessel. You will surrender immediately. You will prepare to be boarded. You will submit to the authority of the Calaxian Empire. Resistance will result in destruction." Dr. Chen felt cold. This was not how first contact was supposed to happen. In all the training scenarios, aliens were curious or cautious, but not immediately hostile. She activated the communication system. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen, captain of the Earth vessel Aurora. We are peaceful explorers conducting scientific research. We wish to establish friendly diplomatic relations with your people." The clicking sounds came again, followed by translation. "Your words are meaningless. The Calaxian Empire does not negotiate with inferior species. You will surrender or be destroyed. You have 5 minutes to comply." Dr. Chen looked around at her. "Crew." Dr. Martinez was trying to analyze the alien ships with his sensors. Dr. Kim was calculating escape routes. Dr. Patel was checking their communication equipment to make sure Earth would know what happened to them, Captain. Dr. Martinez whispered. "Their technology is more advanced than ours, but not by much. Maybe 50 years ahead. Their weapons could destroy us, but our shields might hold for a while." Dr. Chen nodded. She opened the channel again. "We understand that you are a powerful empire. We respect your authority in this region of space. However, Earth is also a sovereign world with its own rights. We propose a meeting between our diplomatic representatives to discuss terms for peaceful coexistence." The response came quickly. "There will be no negotiation. Submit or die. This is your final warning." On the main screen, Dr. Chen could see one of the alien ships moving closer. It was massive and covered in weapon ports. She could also see movement behind transparent sections of the hull. The aliens inside looked like giant insects with multiple arms and large compound eyes. Dr. Chen raised her hands with palms open, showing she was not holding any weapons. It was a universal human gesture of peace. She did not know that to the Calaxians, showing the palm was a threat display, like an animal showing its claws. The alien captain's voice came through the speakers, sounding angry. "You dare threaten us with your attack posture? Prepare to face the consequences of your arrogance." Dr. Chen felt confused. "Attack posture? We are making a gesture of peace. Please, there has been a misunderstanding." But the alien ships were already moving into attack formation. Their weapons started charging with bright energy. Dr. Chen could see the glow building up in their gun ports. She looked at her crew one more time. They were scared but still trusted her to find a way out of this situation. Dr. Chen had to make a choice. She could try to run, but the alien ships were faster. She could try to fight, but the Aurora had no weapons. Or she could keep trying to talk, hoping to find some way to make peace. "This is Captain Zextar of the Calaxian Imperial Fleet," the alien voice said. "You have refused to surrender. You have shown aggressive displays. You have insulted the Empire with your continued resistance. By the laws of the Calaxian Empire, you are now classified as hostile enemies. Prepare to be destroyed." Dr. Chen closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, her voice was steady and calm. "Captain Zextar, I am Dr. Sarah Chen. I speak for the human race and the planet Earth. We are not your enemies. We do not wish to fight, but we also will not surrender our freedom to anyone. If you choose to attack us, you will be starting a war between your people and mine. I strongly advise you to reconsider this action." The alien captain made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your tiny ship against the Calaxian Empire? Your pathetic species will be crushed like insects. But first you will learn what happens to those who defy us." Dr. Chen looked at the stars outside her ship. Somewhere out there was Earth, with its blue oceans and green continents. Her family lived there. Her friends. Billions of people who had no idea that first contact was happening right now in this distant corner of space. She activated the ship's recording system to make sure Earth would know what happened. Then she opened the communication channel one last time. "Captain Zextar, this is your last chance to avoid a war that will benefit no one. Please reconsider your actions." The only response was the growing glow of charging weapons on 8 alien warships. Captain Zextar stood on the bridge of his warship, looking at the small human vessel on his screen. His forearms moved quickly over the control panels while his compound eyes watched every detail. The human ship was so tiny compared to his fleet. It looked like a metal insect next to giant predators. Zextar was proud of his position in the Calaxian Empire. He had conquered 7 species in his career. Each time the aliens had begged for mercy once they saw the power of Calaxian weapons. Some had tried to fight back, but they all surrendered eventually. This would be no different. The human female was still talking about peace and diplomacy. Zextar found it amusing. Her species clearly did not understand how the galaxy worked. The strong ruled the weak. That was the natural order of things. "Captain," his weapons officer called out. "The humans are not powering down their engines. They are not opening their docking bays for boarding. Should we proceed with destruction?" Zextar clicked his mandibles together and thought. The Empire preferred to capture new species alive when possible. Living slaves were more valuable than dead ones, but these humans seemed unusually stubborn. "Fire a warning shot across their bow," he ordered. "Let them see what our weapons can do. That should change their minds quickly." The weapons officer was young for a Calaxian, only recently promoted to his position. His name was Kriktal, and this was his first combat mission. His hands shook slightly as he aimed the plasma cannon. "Yes, Captain. Firing warning shot now." The bright beam of energy shot out from the Calaxian ship. It was supposed to pass just in front of the human vessel, close enough to be threatening but not close enough to cause damage. But Kriktal was nervous. His aim was off by just a few degrees. The plasma bolt struck the side of the Aurora, tearing through the hull and into the research laboratory. The explosion threw Dr. Patel against the wall. Dr. Hassan and Dr. Wong were vaporized instantly. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the ship. Dr. Chen felt the ship shake under her feet. She grabbed onto her chair to keep from falling. Smoke poured out of the damaged sections. The lights flickered and went dim. "Damage report," she called out. Dr. Martinez was working frantically at his station. "Hull breach in Lab Section 3. We've lost life support in that area. Dr. Patel is badly injured. Dr. Hassan and Dr. Wong." He stopped talking and just shook his head. Dr. Chen felt something cold settle in her stomach. 2 of her people were dead. Dr. Patel might die too. These aliens had killed her crew members. They had not meant to, but they had done it anyway. She looked at the main screen where Captain Zextar was visible. The alien seemed surprised by what had happened. He was clicking at his weapons officer in what sounded like anger. "Human vessel," Zextar's voice came through the speakers. "There has been an unfortunate accident. However, this demonstrates the power of our weapons. Surrender now and prevent further casualties." Dr. Chen stared at the alien captain. Her face showed no emotion at all. She did not cry. She did not scream. She did not show any anger or fear. Her crew watched her, waiting to see what she would do. Very slowly, Dr. Chen walked to the emergency communication panel. This was a special system that could send messages across vast distances instantly using quantum entanglement. It was only used for the most serious emergencies. She entered her authorization codes and activated the system. Every person on the bridge watched her. The aliens on the other ships watched her too, probably wondering what she was doing. Dr. Chen spoke 2 words into the transmitter. "Broken arrow." The message shot across space faster than light, heading toward Earth. It would reach the Sol system in minutes. Dr. Chen knew what would happen when it arrived. Broken arrow was humanity's most serious emergency code. It meant that humans were under attack by a hostile alien force. She turned off the quantum communicator and looked back at the main screen. Captain Zexatar was still talking, demanding that she surrender immediately. "Captain," Dr. Martinez whispered, "what have you done?" Dr. Chen did not answer him. Instead, she activated the normal communication system and looked directly at Captain Zextar. Her voice was very quiet and very calm. "Captain Zextar, you have just made a terrible mistake. You have killed members of my crew. You have committed an act of war against the human race. In human culture, this is unforgivable." The alien captain made dismissive gestures with his arms. "Your threats are meaningless, human. You have one small ship against my entire fleet. Surrender now or I will destroy you completely." Dr. Chen continued as if he had not spoken. "You need to understand something about humans, Captain. We do not start wars, but when someone starts a war with us, we finish it. Every time. Without exception." Zextar's compound eyes glittered with what might have been amusement. "You speak boldly for someone about to die. Your species cannot possibly threaten the Calaxian Empire." Dr. Chen looked at him for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was even quieter than before. "Captain Zextar, I suggest you make peace with whatever gods you worship. You just declared war on Earth. You have no idea what you have done." The alien captain laughed, a harsh clicking sound. "Your empty threats do not frighten us, human. We have conquered 12 species. We will conquer yours as well." Dr. Chen shook her head slowly. "You don't understand. This isn't a threat. This is just information. You fired first. You killed my people. Now Earth will respond, and Earth's response will be comprehensive." Captain Zextar was getting tired of this conversation. The human female was clearly insane if she thought her primitive species could challenge the Empire. He had seen their ship's technology. It was adequate, but nothing special. Their weapons were weak. Their armor was thin. They posed no real threat. "Enough of this nonsense," he said. "Prepare to be boarded. Any further resistance will result in the death of your entire crew." Dr. Chen looked around at her remaining crew members. They were frightened and confused. Dr. Martinez was still working on damage control. Dr. Kim was trying to help Dr. Patel with his injuries. The others were just staring at her, waiting for orders. "Captain," Dr. Martinez said quietly. "What should we do?" Dr. Chen walked to the captain's chair and sat down. She looked very tired suddenly. "We wait for what?" "For the cavalry to arrive." Captain Zextar heard this exchange through the open communication channel. "There is no cavalry coming, human. Your nearest military bases are hundreds of light years away. Even if you sent a message, it would take weeks for any help to arrive. You are alone." Dr. Chen looked at him with something that might have been pity. "Captain, you really don't know anything about humans, do you?" She leaned back in her chair and closed her eyes. "Dr. Martinez, how long until the broken arrow response arrives?" Dr. Martinez checked his instruments. "Based on standard protocols, approximately 6 hours, Captain." 6 hours, Dr. Chen repeated, opening her eyes to look at Captain Zextar. "You have 6 hours to leave this system and never come back. I recommend you use that time wisely." Captain Zextar had heard enough. These humans were clearly mentally defective. No species could mount a military response across hundreds of light years in just 6 hours. It was physically impossible. "You are insane," he told Dr. Chen. "Begin the boarding operation immediately." But as his ships moved closer to the Aurora, Zextar felt a small doubt creeping into his mind. The human captain seemed very confident for someone who was about to die. She acted like she knew something he didn't, but that was impossible. His intelligence reports on this system showed no military presence anywhere nearby. Still, something about the human's calm certainty made him uncomfortable. He had been in many battles, and experienced warriors developed instincts about these things. Right now, his instincts were telling him that something was wrong. He looked at the small human ship floating helplessly among his mighty warships. In 6 hours, he would either be proven right about human weakness, or he would learn what the human had meant about Earth's response being comprehensive. Zextar had a feeling he was not going to like the answer. 5 hours and 47 minutes after Dr. Chen sent the broken arrow message, space began to shimmer around the Galaxian fleet. At first, it looked like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Then the shimmering grew stronger and more defined. Captain Zextar was in his command room studying reports about human technology when his sensor officer called out in alarm. "Captain, something is happening. Space itself is changing." Zextar rushed to the bridge. On the main screen, he could see strange distortions appearing all around his ships. The stars seemed to bend and twist in impossible ways. His compound eyes had never seen anything like it. "What kind of phenomenon is this?" he demanded. "I don't know, sir. Our sensors are detecting massive gravitational fluctuations, but there's no visible source. It's like reality is being torn apart and rebuilt." Suddenly, the distortions stopped. For a moment, everything was perfectly still. Then, as if they had always been there, 37 human warships materialized around the Galaxian fleet. These were not research vessels like the Aurora. These were ships built for war. They were sleek and dark, with angular hulls that seemed to absorb light. They moved with impossible grace, positioning themselves with mathematical precision around every Galaxian ship. Captain Zextar felt his blood run cold. How had an entire fleet appeared from nothing? His sensors had detected no approaching ships, no hyperspace signatures, no warp trails. The human vessels had simply materialized out of empty space. The largest human ship positioned itself directly in front of Zextar's flagship. It was twice the size of his vessel and covered in weapon ports that glowed with contained energy. Letters on its hull spelled out UES Retribution. A new voice came through the communication system. Unlike Dr. Chen's calm tones, this voice was hard and commanding. It belonged to someone who was used to being obeyed without question. "Galaxian Fleet, this is Admiral Marcus Stone of the United Earth Navy. You are surrounded and outgunned. Power down your weapons immediately and prepare to be boarded." Captain Zextar tried to make sense of what was happening. "This is impossible," he muttered. "They appeared from nowhere. How did they get here so fast?" His sensor officer was working frantically at his controls. "Captain, I'm detecting impossible energy readings from the human ships. Their technology it's decades ahead of ours." Zextar activated his communication system. "Human Admiral, I'm Captain Zextar of the Galaxian Imperial Fleet. How did you arrive here so quickly?" "Our intelligence reports showed no human military presence within 500 light years." Admiral Stone's laugh was not pleasant. "Captain, your intelligence reports are worthless. We've been watching your empire for 23 years. We know the location of every one of your fleets, every one of your bases, every one of your worlds. We've been waiting for this day." "Waiting for what day?" "The day you made the mistake of attacking us first." On the main screen, Captain Zextar could see Admiral Stone on the bridge of the Retribution. The human was older than Dr. Chen, with gray hair and cold blue eyes. He wore a dark military uniform covered in medals and insignia. Everything about him spoke of experience in warfare. "You see, Captain," Admiral Stone continued, "humans have a very simple rule when it comes to warfare. You can attack us once. We will make absolutely certain you never get the chance to attack us twice." Zextar felt confusion and growing fear. "But how? How did you know we were here? How did you arrive so quickly?" "Because we've been preparing for this meeting since we first detected your empire 23 years ago." "Did you really think Earth would send out unarmed research ships without any protection? Dr. Chen and her team are some of our bravest people, but we would never leave them defenseless." Admiral Stone's image leaned forward on the screen. Every human ship that explores beyond our borders has a hidden escort fleet following at a distance. Invisible to your sensors, ready to respond within hours to any threat. Dr. Chen's broken arrow signal reached us when we were 3 light years away. We've been running silent ever since we detected your empire. Captain Zextar looked around at his bridge crew. They were all staring at the screens showing human warships surrounding them. The alien vessels moved with a fluid grace that spoke of technology far beyond Calaxian capabilities. This is still just one fleet, Zextar said, trying to sound confident. The Calaxian Empire has thousands of ships spread across hundreds of worlds. Even if you defeat us here, you cannot threaten our entire civilization. Admiral Stone smiled, and it was not a friendly expression. Captain, you still don't understand. This isn't just one fleet. This is one of 73 hidden fleets that have been positioned throughout the galaxy. Right now, every major Calaxian military installation is being watched by similar forces. If this situation escalates, we can strike every important target in your empire simultaneously. The blood drained from Zextar's face. That's impossible. We would have detected such a massive military presence. You detected nothing because you were looking for the wrong things. Human stealth technology is based on principles your science hasn't discovered yet. We've been studying your species for decades. We know your sensor capabilities. We know your weapons. We know your tactics. We know your weaknesses. Admiral Stone paused to let this information sink in. But most importantly, we know your history. We know how you treat species that refuse to surrender. We know about the vaccine genocide. We know about the Threx labor camps. We know about the mass executions on Koltar Prime. Captain Zextar felt sick. Those operations had been classified at the highest levels of Imperial security. How could the humans know about them? We know what kind of empire you are, Captain. That's why we've been preparing for this day. Humanity does not tolerate bullies. We especially do not tolerate genocidal bullies. Admiral Stone's voice became even colder. You made 3 mistakes today, Captain. First, you attacked a peaceful research vessel. Second, you killed innocent scientists. Third, you did it to humans. Each of those mistakes by itself might have been forgivable. All 3 together? That's a declaration of war. Zextar tried to salvage the situation. Admiral, surely we can negotiate. The deaths were accidental. My weapons officer missed his target. It was not intentional. The intent doesn't matter, Captain. The result is what matters. 3 humans are dead because of your actions. That debt must be paid. What do you want? Reparations? Territory? Resources? Admiral Stone shook his head. We want nothing from your empire, Captain. We want you to stop existing as a threat to peaceful species. You have 2 choices. Surrender unconditionally and accept occupation by human forces or be destroyed completely. Those are your only options. Captain Zextar looked at his tactical display. 8 Calaxian ships against 37 human vessels. The odds were not good, but the Empire had won against worse numbers before. And if we choose to fight, then you will learn why humans are the only species in this galaxy that has never lost a war. Zextar made his decision. The Calaxian Empire had never surrendered to anyone. They would not start now regardless of the odds. Human Admiral, the Calaxian Empire does not yield to threats. If you want a war, you will have one. Admiral Stone nodded as if he had expected this answer. Very well, Captain. But understand this. What happens next is not a battle. It's a demonstration. When it's over, every species in the galaxy will understand what happens when you attack humans first. The Admiral's image disappeared from the screen. Around the Calaxian fleet, the human warships remained perfectly still, like predators waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Captain Zextar took a deep breath and gave the order that would change the galaxy forever. All ships, attack formation. Target the human flagship. Fire when ready. The Calaxian ships moved into position, their weapons charging with deadly energy. But the human ships didn't move at all. They just waited, as if they had all the time in the world. Zextar had the feeling he was about to learn something terrible about humanity. Something that would haunt him for the rest of his life, assuming he survived the next few minutes. Captain Zextar gave the order to attack. 8 Calaxian warships opened fire at the same moment, sending streams of plasma energy toward the human fleet. The space around them lit up with deadly light as the most powerful weapons in the Calaxian arsenal unleashed their fury. The plasma bolts struck the human ships dead on. For a moment, Zextar felt hope. Then he watched in growing horror as the energy simply disappeared. The human vessels absorbed the plasma like it was nothing more than gentle sunlight. What happened? Zextar demanded. Where did our weapons fire go? His weapons officer stared at his instruments in disbelief. Sir, the humans have some kind of adaptive shielding. Our plasma is being converted into harmless energy and stored in their power systems. They're actually using our attacks to charge their own weapons. Before Zextar could respond, the human ships finally moved. They didn't attack. Instead, they simply positioned themselves with impossible precision around each Galaxian vessel. The movement was so smooth and coordinated that it looked like a dance performed by machines. Admiral Stone's voice came through the communication system again. Captain Zextar, you've just witnessed human defensive technology. Now let me show you something else. The space around the Galaxian fleet began to change. Invisible force fields surrounded each alien ship, trapping them in place. Zextar felt his ship shudder as it tried to move but couldn't. What are you doing to us? He called out. Gravity manipulation, Captain. We're creating artificial gravity wells around your ships. You're not going anywhere until we decide to let you go. Zextar tried to understand what was happening. Gravity manipulation was theoretical technology. The greatest Galaxian scientists had studied it for decades without success. Yet the humans were using it like it was simple engineering. Your weapons are useless against us, Captain, Admiral Stone continued. Your ships cannot move. Your communications are being monitored and can be cut off at any time. In effect, you are completely helpless. But I'm not done demonstrating human capabilities yet. One of the human ships moved closer to Zextar's flagship. It was smaller than the others, built for speed rather than firepower. As it approached, Zextar could see strange devices extending from its hull. That ship is equipped with technology we developed by studying 14 different alien species over the past 50 years, Admiral Stone explained. We've been collecting samples of every technology we've encountered. Then we improve it and integrate it into our own systems. The human ship began scanning the Galaxian vessel with beams of energy that Zextar didn't recognize. His sensor officer called out in panic, Captain, they're mapping our entire ship. Every system, every circuit, every piece of equipment. They're learning everything about our technology in real time. Within minutes, alarms began going off throughout the Galaxian ship. Life support systems started shutting down. Weapons went offline. The gravity generators flickered and failed. Even the lights began dimming. How are they doing this? Zextar asked desperately. They've hacked into our computer system somehow, his technical officer reported. But that should be impossible. Our security protocols are unbreakable. Admiral Stone's voice carried a hint of amusement. Captain, your security protocols are based on mathematics that human children learn in primary school. We cracked your entire computer language in the first 30 seconds of scanning. Now we have complete control over every system on your ship. To prove his point, the Admiral made the lights on Zextar's bridge flash in a pattern that spelled out, surrender in Galaxian writing. Captain Zextar felt despair settling over him. This wasn't a battle. It was a demonstration of complete technological superiority. The humans weren't even trying to hurt them. They were just showing how easily they could destroy the entire Galaxian fleet if they chose to. But how? He asked weakly. How do you have such advanced technology? Your species is new to space travel. Our intelligence report said you only achieved faster than light travel 50 years ago. Your intelligence reports are wrong, Captain. Humans have been traveling between stars for over 200 years. We've just been very careful about who we let see us doing it. Admiral Stone's image appeared on Zextar's screen again. You see, Captain, when humans first developed interstellar travel, we made a decision. We would explore the galaxy quietly, learning about other species before making contact. We wanted to understand what we were dealing with before announcing our presence. For 2 centuries, we've been watching civilizations rise and fall. We've studied your technologies. We've learned your languages. We've observed your behaviors. We know which species are peaceful and which are aggressive. We know which ones can be trusted and which ones are threats. Zextar felt sick as he began to understand the implications. You've been spying on us for 200 years? Not just you, Captain. Every spacefaring species in this part of the galaxy. We have detailed files on over 300 different civilizations. We know their strengths, their weaknesses, their military capabilities, and their moral character. The Admiral paused to let this sink in. The Galaxian Empire has been classified as a Level 5 threat. That means you are an aggressive, expansionist civilization that poses a danger to peaceful species. We've been waiting for you to make a mistake that would justify direct intervention. Today you made that mistake. Around the Calaxian fleet, more human ships were arriving. They materialized out of empty space just like the first group had. Soon there were over 100 human vessels surrounding the 8 trapped Calaxian ships. This is just the local response force, Captain, Admiral Stone explained. If necessary, we can bring thousands of ships to this location within hours. Our logistics capabilities are somewhat beyond what your empire might expect. Captain Zextar looked at his bridge crew. They were all staring at the screens in shock and fear. The Calaxian Empire prided itself on being the most advanced military force in the galaxy. Yet they had been reduced to helplessness in a matter of minutes by a species they had considered primitive. "What do you want from us?" Zextar asked. "I want you to watch something, Captain, and I want you to remember every detail so you can report it to your superiors." Admiral Stone activated a new communication channel. "This message is being broadcast to every Calaxian world, every Calaxian ship, and every Calaxian installation in the galaxy. Your entire empire is watching what happens here today." Zextar felt his heart stop beating. The humans had somehow tapped into the Empire's most secure communication networks. Every Calaxian in space would witness their fleet's humiliation. "People of the Calaxian Empire," Admiral Stone's voice echoed across space. "Today your military forces attacked a peaceful human research vessel and killed innocent scientists. This aggression cannot and will not be tolerated. What you are about to see is a demonstration of human military capability. We want every species in the galaxy to understand what happens when you attack humans without provocation." Admiral Stone looked directly at the camera. "We are not conquerors. We are not an empire. We are protectors. From this day forward, any unprovoked attack on any peaceful species will result in immediate intervention by human forces." He turned his attention back to Captain Zextar. "Captain, you have 23 minutes to watch your fleet be systematically disabled. Every weapon will be destroyed. Every engine will be shut down. Every computer system will be reprogrammed. When it's over, you'll be completely dependent on us for life support. And then, Captain, you're going to help us deliver a message to your Emperor." The human ships began moving with deadly purpose, and Captain Zextar realized that the war was already over. It had been over before it began. 23 minutes later, the Calaxian fleet was dead in space. Every weapon had been surgically removed by precise energy beams. Every engine had been shut down by computer viruses that rewrote their basic programming. Every system that could pose a threat had been neutralized without destroying the ships or killing their crews. Captain Zextar sat in darkness on his bridge. The only light came from the emergency power systems that the humans had graciously allowed to continue functioning. His crew sat in stunned silence, watching the human ships through the viewports. Admiral Stone's voice came through the communication system one last time. "Captain, in 5 minutes you will receive a transmission from your high command. They will order you to surrender unconditionally. You will comply with that order." "How can you know what they will order?" Zextar asked weakly. "Because 3 minutes ago we simultaneously disabled the orbital defense platforms of your 3 most heavily fortified worlds, Calaxia Prime, Fortress Nexus, and the shield world of Vorthak. All of their weapons are now offline. All of their communications are under our control. Your Emperor is currently staring at human ships in orbit above his palace." Zextar felt the last of his hope die. Those 3 worlds were the heart of Calaxian military power. If the humans could reach them and disable their defenses, then nowhere in the Empire was safe. Your Emperor has exactly 2 choices, Captain: complete and immediate surrender, or the total annihilation of Calaxian civilization. We have the capability to destroy every military installation, every government building, and every population center in your empire within 6 hours. Your Emperor knows this because we just proved it to him." The communication system chimed with an incoming message from Calaxia Prime. Emperor Thrakmor himself appeared on the screen, his compound eyes filled with defeat and fear. "Captain Zextar, by imperial decree you will surrender your fleet immediately to the human forces. The Calaxian Empire hereby submits to human authority. All military operations are to cease at once. This is not negotiable." The transmission ended, leaving Zextar alone with the weight of total defeat. In less than 6 hours, the mighty Calaxian Empire had been brought to its knees by a species they had considered primitives. Admiral Stone's image appeared on the screen again. "Captain, please prepare your crew for boarding. You will be taken to a secure location, where you will be questioned about Calaxian military capabilities and war crimes. After that, you will serve as a liaison between your people and ours." "What will happen to the Empire?" Zextar asked. "That depends on how cooperative your people are. Humans are not interested in conquest or tribute. We don't want your worlds or your resources. We have everything we need." Admiral Stone leaned back in his chair. "What we want is peace. Real peace. The kind of peace where every species can develop and explore without fear of being attacked by aggressive empires like yours. The Calaxian Empire will be restructured under human oversight. Your military will be reduced to a defensive force only. Your aggressive expansion will end permanently. Your conquered species will be given the choice of independence or remaining as willing members of a reformed federation." Zextar felt confused. "You're not going to destroy us?" "Captain, humans don't wage war for revenge. We wage war to solve problems. The problem was that your empire threatened peaceful species. Once that threat is eliminated, there's no need for further violence." Admiral Stone smiled, and for the first time it seemed genuine rather than threatening. "In fact, Captain, once your people learn to coexist peacefully with their neighbors, we'll be happy to share some of our technology with you. Medical advances, agricultural improvements, clean energy systems, things that will help your people live better lives. You would help us? After what we did?" "Captain, we believe that every species has the potential for growth and change. The humans you attacked today were scientists and explorers. They dedicated their lives to learning new things and expanding knowledge. That's what we want to encourage throughout the galaxy." Human boarding parties began arriving on the Calaxian ships. They were professional and courteous, treating the defeated aliens with respect rather than cruelty. Zextar watched as human medics helped injured Calaxian crew members and human engineers began repairing critical systems. Over the following weeks, Zextar learned more about humanity than he had ever imagined possible. They were not conquerors in the traditional sense. They were gardeners, carefully tending to the galaxy and protecting it from those who would harm it. The humans released detailed plans for medical technology that could cure diseases that had plagued Calaxian society for centuries. They provided agricultural techniques that could feed billions of hungry people on occupied worlds. They offered clean energy systems that could power entire civilizations without damaging their environments. But they kept weapons technology firmly under their control. No species in the galaxy would ever again have the capability to threaten others the way the Calaxian Empire had. 6 months later, Captain Zextar stood in his new office on the reformed world of Calaxia Prime. He was now the chief cultural liaison between humanity and his people. His job was to help other Calaxian leaders understand how to build a peaceful society. Through his window, he could see human ships in orbit above the planet. They were not there as conquerors or occupiers. They were there as guardians, making sure that the transition to peace went smoothly. Zextar often thought about that day when Dr. Chen had refused to blink in the face of his fleet's weapons. He understood now why she had been so calm. She had known something that he didn't. She had known that humanity never bluffed about warfare. When humans said they would end a threat, they meant it completely and literally. But when they said they wanted peace, they meant that too. The galaxy was a safer place now. Dozens of other aggressive species had surrendered, rather than face the same fate as the Calaxian Empire. Pirates and raiders had abandoned their ships and sought honest work. Peaceful species that had been living in fear for centuries could now explore and trade freely. Humanity had become the galaxy's protector, asking for nothing in return except that everyone learned to coexist peacefully. They had bases on 1,000 worlds, but they ruled none of them. They had the most powerful military force in known space, but they used it only to defend others. As Zextar watched the stars outside his window, he reflected on the lesson his people had learned at such a terrible cost. The most dangerous opponent was not someone who threatened violence. The most dangerous opponent was someone who never threatened violence, never boasted about their power, and never bluffed about what they were willing to do. Dr. Chen had tried to warn him. She had told him that humans didn't start wars, but they always finished them. She had been telling the simple truth. The war had been over before it began, because humanity had been preparing for it for 200 years. They had been ready for every possible threat. every possible scenario, every possible enemy. And now, because of that preparation, there would be peace. Real peace. The kind of peace that Dr. Chen and her fellow scientists had been working toward when they died exploring the stars. Captain Zextar hoped that somehow, wherever they were, those brave human explorers knew that their sacrifice had not been in vain. The galaxy was safer because of what they had given their lives for. And it would stay safe, because humans never forgot those who died in the cause of peace, and they never forgave those who killed innocents. The war was over. The peace would last forever.